Let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're taking a high-energy journey straight into the microscopic world of the immune system. We're going to explore the cellular magic of vaccination and specifically how a tiny biological hero known as the B cell fundamentally saves lives every single day. If you've ever wondered exactly what's happening in your body after you get a vaccine, you are in the perfect place.
Okay, let's dive into this. Our roadmap today is simple. First, the immune system army. Second, we meet the B cell. Third, the activation sequence. Fourth, plasma cells and antibodies. And finally, number 5, the power of vaccination.
Starting with Section 1, the immune system army and its integrated network.
When we talk about the immune system, it's absolutely crucial to understand that it isn't just a single organ like a heart or a liver. It's a massive, highly integrated military network of specialized units, cells, tissues, and soluble mediators just constantly patrolling and communicating throughout your entire body. And this brilliantly illustrates how that cellular army is divided up. Think of natural killer or NK cells as your rapid innate killers. They jump into action immediately upon detecting an anomaly, no prior memory needed. Then you have your T cells, which mature in the thymus. These are the master coordinators and targeted assassins for cell-mediated immunity. But then, we have the absolute specialists of humoral immunity, the B cells. They are the only ones capable of massive antibody production and forming that long-term memory we're going to focus on today.
Section 2. Meet the B cell and humoral immunity.
We're zooming in on our main protagonist now. The B lymphocyte is the absolute center of humoral immunity, which, refers to the immune defenses happening in the fluids of your body, like blood and lymph. But before we get into what they do, I've got to share a surprising piece of veterinary trivia with you. Have you ever wondered why they're called B cells? You'd probably guess it stands for bone marrow, right? Since that's where they develop and mature in adult mammals like us. But historically, the B actually stands for the bursa of Fabricius. This is a primary lymphoid organ found uniquely in birds, where avian B cell development happens. Birds actually provided the crucial initial model for scientists to figure out B cell biology, so the B name just stuck across all species. How wild is that? So wherever they mature, these cells are equipped with an incredibly precise tool, the B cell receptor, or BCR. This is a highly specific, membrane-bound immunoglobulin. And what makes the BCR so special is that it allows the B cell to recognize an antigen, a foreign threat, directly in its native form. Unlike T cells, which literally need another cell to process and present the threat to them first, B cells, they can spot the intact invader all on their own. This receptor provides enormous diversity, meaning your body can recognize almost any pathogen you might encounter out there in the natural world.
Let's move to Section 3, the activation sequence, from patrol to war. Let's see how this builds.
So how does this cellular soldier go from quietly patrolling your bloodstream to fighting an active war? Well, it happens through a beautifully choreographed, highly urgent tactical operation called T-dependent activation. First up, antigen recognition. The B cell bumps into a pathogen and locks onto it using that highly specific B cell receptor. Second, antigen internalization. It pulls that threat inside, breaks it up, and displays a tiny peptide piece of it on its surface. Third, T-helper interaction. This is the crucial backup call. The B cell basically waves this red flag at a CD4-positive helper T cell. The helper T cell recognizes it, locks on, and secretes activating cytokines. This vital communication is what gives the B cell the final green light for step 4, clonal expansion.
So the crucial point here is this fundamental biological concept, clonal selection. The body doesn't waste energy activating every single immune cell, right? It only activates the one specific B cell that perfectly matches the invading pathogen. Once activated, that single cell rapidly replicates. It literally clones itself over and over again, generating a massive, highly targeted army, perfectly designed to destroy that one specific enemy.
On to Section 4, plasma cells and antibodies.
Now, what exactly happens to all those thousands of identical clones? This is where our microscopic army shifts into full-scale devastating battle mode. A large portion of these newly cloned B cells undergo terminal differentiation to become plasma cells, and they aren't just regular circulating cells anymore. Their internal biology completely transforms. They develop an abundant, rough endoplasmic reticulum and become densely packed with secretory Golgi machinery. Basically, they are heavily armed and specialized for one single vital task, large-scale antibody secretion. They just start pumping out thousands of specific antibodies per second into your bloodstream to bind to and neutralize the pathogen.
I absolutely love this description directly from our source material. Plasma cells are quite literally antibody factories.
They don't just make a few antibodies on the side. Their entire cellular existence is repurposed into being a dedicated, high-volume manufacturing plant for your immune defense. It's just biological perfection in action.
Finally, Section 5, the power of vaccination and how we hack the system.
That incredible biology brings us to our final and most important chapter. This is where we look at how medical science brilliantly hacks this exact cellular system to save millions of human and animal lives around the globe. So let me pose a direct question to you, kind of like a professor would in a veterinary and immunology classroom. Why does a second vaccination, or a booster shot, usually produce a much faster response than the first? Just think about that for a second. The answer lies in what happens to a very special subset of those cloned B cells after that initial battle is over.
Now, what's really interesting is the stark biological contrast between your body's first exposure to a threat and its second. During a primary response, your immune system is, frankly, a bit sluggish. It takes days or even weeks for that one specific B cell to find the antigen, call for T cell help, clone itself, and start building those antibody factories. But during this whole process, it also forms memory B cells. So during a secondary response, say when you encounter the actual live virus after being vaccinated against it, those memory cells are already waiting in the wings. The response is vastly faster, immensely stronger, and significantly more effective.
Let's actually trace that timeline chronologically. First, you introduce the vaccine antigen, which is just a harmless piece of the pathogen. Second, you get B-cell activation, just as if it were a real dangerous infection. Third, clonal expansion occurs, creating plasma cells to clear the harmless antigen. But more importantly, step 4 happens. Memory B cells persist. They hang around in your system for years, sometimes decades, just constantly patrolling. And that leads directly to step 5, a rapid secondary response the moment the real dangerous pathogen actually tries to invade your body. The threat is neutralized with overwhelming force before you even know you're sick.
But while the B cell is undoubtedly the superstar of our vaccination story today, we absolutely can't forget its allies. As our source material perfectly summarizes, effective immunity results from coordinated communication among innate cells, B cells, T cells, antibodies, complement, and other immune mediators. The B cell creates the neutralizing antibodies and the life-saving memory, sure, but it relies completely on that initial helper T cell communication and the innate cleanup crew of macrophages to truly win the war. It's just a breathtakingly complex team effort.
Which leaves us with this final thought for today. If your microscopic B cells can remember their enemies this perfectly, literally hiding in wait for years just from a single tiny vaccine encounter, what else is your brilliant immune army quietly preparing for right now? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep exploring and stay curious.